All right. Hello. Welcome. It is Sunday morning for me, at least. So we are here. It is past the second week of NaMoPaiMo. So that's exciting. Hopefully, you've made some good progress on your ponies. There's another 2 weeks left before we're done. We finish up on a Saturday. So we have one more stream in between now and then of NaMoPaiMo goodness. I am feeling energized and inspired, and hopefully you are too. So we're going to talk about some of the Breyer releases since the last time we streamed, which is limited editions, and then I'll get into a little bit of studio stuff, what I've been up to for NaMoPaiMo, which has been a lot of things because I just so happened to have a lot of things that were partially in progress, so it worked out really well. And then I will talk about my hyperfixation for the day, which is actually a combination of a couple of things that some of you might find kind of interesting. So we always end on that. All right. On that note, let us do... I don't know why it keeps cutting off the end, but anyways, they have done some things for us, being Breyer. We had the sneak peek the last time we were here on the Breyerfest blog. Right there. I'll make it a little bigger for you guys. That was a red chunk, and that came out on the Saturday, I think, February 11th. That would have been Wednesday? Really? Okay. So they gave us a peek really early, figuring it would probably be a dollar horse, and it was a dollar horse. So that's cool. We weren't sure if we were going to see it as the decorator. They haven't done a traditional classic decorator like this in a while, so it's kind of neat. It says there's no way fans were going to guess our clue from yesterday. There we're going to start off with this. Dalarna, a region nestled in central Sweden, was made a name for itself in the 17th century by becoming a leader in crafting little wooden equines that became known as dollar horses. Carved by loggers and woodworkers as presents for their children, these brightly painted horses became an authentic symbol of Sweden and soon found in markets all over the region. Gaining global attention in 1939 at the World's Fair in New York, Sweden started mass production of little wooden horses. In Nusnäs, Sweden, the dollar horse is still being produced today at the Nils Olsson Dalastar factory, where traditional carving and painting techniques from decades ago are still used. We could not have a celebration of Nordic culture without paying homage to the icon that is the dollar horse, which I knew nothing about before this, other than that it existed. So it's kind of cool. I like the historical deep divey stuff into the themes. It's kind of fun. So for this year's Freedom Series 1/12 scale limited edition model, we are excited to introduce fans to Dalarna, done on Jane Lunger's standing thoroughbred mold 657. Super, super cute. So it's got the tones of blue, the painted on, it's probably a decal, the deckled on bridle, and cuteness. I like the blue in the hair. That works really well with it. I'm assuming that these would be traditional-ish designs. So it says Dalarna features a beautifully intricate floral design atop most popular and iconic dollar horse color, which is red. The design is an art style specific to Sweden called kurbits, which is characterized by the use of stylized floral and plant motifs in vibrant colors. All ticket holders will have access to the limited edition model during Breyerfest weekend, whether you're joining in person or online. So super cute. And then, here, let me just fix chat here. We'll have Katie. Good morning, Katie. Sarah, hello, welcome. Amy, good morning. Serene River Model Horses, hi, coming from YouTube. Kimberly, hello, from YouTube as well. Kim, hi. We have so many people this morning. Katie, hi, Katie. In comfy clothes, have my mug cake. It's stream time. That's awesome. I want a mug cake. I could put a mug cake in my Stitch mug because it is giant, but I just have coffee. And not even a lot of coffee. Krista, hi, from YouTube as well. Jerry, here for a minute. Then got to run, just popping in to say hi. Hi, Jerry. It's always nice to see you guys. Abigail, hello, welcome. Abby, hi. Bobby, hi. Oh, so many people. Alan, hi. Then we have this one. On this, I immediately was like, where's its neck? It's so cute. With this little like May crown of flower thing. So this is In Bloom. Dancing around the maypole is a staple of Swedish midsummer celebrations, and we are so excited to bring the same joy and frivolity to Breyerfest this summer. I wonder if they're actually going to have like a maypole you can dance around. Kind of fun. Meet Blom, this year's absolutely adorable 6-inch plush model who is ready with her flower crown to dance around the maypole with no neck. I don't know why. It's not like a critique. It's just adorable. I'm like, it's the first thing I thought. I'm sorry. It's never going to come out of my head. Cute little flower on her butt. Cute little crown. Will be available. Blom will be available to all ticket holders as part of this year's limited edition model lineup. So whether you're joining us in person or online, you can add this adorable stuffed horse to your plushie collection. Also, along with Cupid, who's a really cute Valentine's Day plush, which we'll get into in a second. If you want to have a flower crown of your own, Breyerfest official flower crown partner, Featherstone Florals, is currently taking orders. They will also be joining us on site at the event and will be located at the grass, or in the grass, by the bridge to Celebration Park with a huge variety of flower crowns and headbands for guests to choose from. Very pretty. Says, have a great weekend. Thinking warm spring thoughts. Will be back here for Breyer on the Breyerfest blog next week with some important information and some fun reveals. So they still have yet to do contest prizes. They still have yet to do a couple of the limited editions. We did see the crystal, which was the Icelandic we talked about last week. And I don't know what else we're waiting on. Online exclusive stablemate? And online exclusive traditional model for the maybe. Kay says yes, Stitch mug. Amy, I love the little butt. It's so cute. I love it. It's just so cute. Anyway, Allison, hi, how's it going? Welcome. Yeah, so that'll be kind of cool. We'll see what they do for all the last of the releases that they have planned. Then I'm going to swap you over here to the Facebook. And they have their Cupid plushie for Valentine's Day, which was yesterday. So happy Valentine's Day. They were doing these really cute, like, stop motion animation videos, which is adorable. I really, really like this. It's little like wings. And the fact it has wings is super cute. I liked the donkey last year as well. And then they did an animation. Where'd it go? There. There's the donkey. These are so cute. That's pretty adorable. So, I like these. Good on Breyer for doing pretty little animated thingies. So, Lizzie, hi, you're late. I come bearing Stitch. We were just talking about how I should put mug cake in there because it is cake sized. It's like my head sized, almost. So yeah, that's super exciting to see what they have going on for the ponies. There's a lot of people that collect the little stuffy things. They haven't really had a lot of other stuff come out in the last little bit. It's just been the slow leak of Breyerfesty stuff. So we'll see what those contest models are. We'll see what the other limited editions are, the exclusives for online. I don't think that they've said yet. There's still people that are speculating on what the surprise might be. But again, we won't know until the day of when people start opening them, unless there's some sort of crazy leak from somewhere. But I imagine after last year, they're probably very strict about the leaks and such because the Christmas surprise pony was leaked. Anyway, all the coffee, pretty much. Amy, I hope they show the auction models before the event this year like they used to. Hopefully. We'll see what they end up doing. It's kind of nice to see what comes up, and the auction models are always like extra pretty, so it's kind of fun. And then you can speculate on which one's going to go for $65,000 or more. Who knows? Anyway, that's crazy. All right, let's get into studio updates here. right. So I have been working and having meetings this week or this last week about changes coming to the website again. I'm sorry. So the website kind of got a little bit bogged down with some technical challenges, and I've decided to switch providers entirely, which also will make things a better experience for club members. You'll be able to log in like the Breyer site to your club page, log in, and it'll allow you access to all the club stuff without how we've been doing it now, which has been a changing password every month, which has been functional, but not the smoothest system. So I am paying a whole bunch of extra money to make your experience better, and hopefully that makes all of it awesome and more awesome, which will free up time for me because I won't be dealing with technical challenges, hopefully, knock on all the wood, and it will let cool things happen. It'll also mean that your discount will be applied automatically for club members, and I'll be able to do some cool stuff in the background and allow you early access to stuff with a clickable button that only members can click for your early access, which is kind of cool. So then it's all one place. You're not going to a separate area for some of the stuff. We'll see how it ends up shaking out, but my meetings went really well. I'm going to be emailing all the club members to let you guys know what's coming up, because some of you will have some changes in the back end that I will need your assistance with, particularly anybody who has a different contact email from your payment email. That kind of bungles up the transfer of things. But for the majority of you, it'll be a straight transfer over. You won't notice any difference until you get access to the new site. It'll also mean that it is Shopify linked, and that will have the cart options back. Yay! I know a lot of you have been waiting for that. So it'll allow for me to have your cart back, so you can add a whole bunch of things to your cart instead of checking out individually. It'll allow for easier application of any prizes and discounts that you have. That includes the flat out fabulous ones. So make sure, I'll touch it in a second, that you're entering those contests, because you'll be able to use that and apply it against different purchases. It will also allow for you to easier track things. That links in a little bit more smoothly in the back end with all of my shipping systems. So if you have the shop app, which is the Shopify tracky thingy, it'll show you where your order is at any given time. And it'll probably also ping you, if you want it to, when there's new stuff that pops up in the store, which may work against me, I guess, because people will be able to see stuff sooner than maybe I have posted about it yet. Maybe that's how people do it with the Breyer system. I have no idea. But anyways, it'll open up a whole bunch more opportunities. It is a little bit more of an investment on my end, but I think that that's worth it for your guys' customer experience of being able to do things a little easier. I did also inventory all of my stickers, which was a ridiculous process. I tend to over order basically for all the editions and everything. So if there's a sticker that you've wanted, there's a good likelihood that I will be able to, that I have some, and that I will put it up on the website once I get the new Shopify site all set up. And then you can have like a sticker smorgasbord. So that's coming very, very soon, hopefully here. I was gonna aim for the year of the fire horse being Tuesday, but we're not quite there yet. There's a couple of bugs in the system to work out before I am comfortable putting up that level of shopping experience live. But I'm going to endeavor to have some evergreen things on the website. So Mulder and Scully will be back for ordering. Those are the two medallions with the anatomy. One's a skull, one's a face with muscles on it. And then that's going to open up some other opportunities as well that I can't talk about yet. But there'll be some stuff on the website that will be available, and it'll be a lot easier to peruse what's available and what's not. So hopefully that works out good for everybody, because it's been a lot. And I tried to do it a different way and it just wasn't working. I do like the visualness of the Wix website right now, but all the integrations and stuff that I needed were basically on the Shopify system. So here we are switching again. So I really appreciate your patience as I move things around and keep flipping stuff, but it is all going to be worth it. I think it's going to be a way better experience. Might be a little bit more visually simplistic, but that's not always necessarily a bad thing. I have a whole bunch of the stuff loaded in there already. I do intend to put the galleries and things back there so you can see what the previous medallions were and more information about them. Similar to how the Wix page is set up for the limited stuff that's up on there right now, with being able to see the edition information and such. I'm going to try and load up all the customs and things too. So hopefully you guys enjoy it when I switch it over. It's always nerve-wracking for me making changes. I don't like, because I find it frustrating sometimes when things change. And so, yeah, anyway, hopefully it works out. That's also going to mean the newsletter's moving again. So it'll be linked in directly with Shopify, and that will make it way more guaranteed it's going to get in your mailbox, because like I was explaining on the art hangout that we did the other day, is the Moosend platform is linked to my new Workspace account, which is linked to the Gmail account, but that's the one that's the contact@chrysalisstudios.com. And because it's a new email, all these email providers are treating it like I've never emailed anybody ever in my life, and they're treating it as suspicious until proven otherwise. So it's been causing a little bit of problems. I'm working with Google to try and fix that, because the accounts are linked, so it shouldn't be so hard. But by doing it through Shopify, like MailChimp and that, it will be a lot more easy to get those to your inboxes in a reasonable amount of time, hopefully with less spam flagging. But I will send out an email to everybody if you can make sure that, in most cases, most people have Shopify in there as some sort of saved thing. But I'll see what I need you guys to do if you need to add an email to the whitelist. The contact@Khrysalis Studios email will probably be the one to add. It'll just be coming through a different system. So, it's all trial and error for sure. Oh, goodness gracious. And there's been so much programming and so many crazy things. And I tried to I'm like, if I just do this back here, like, no, I just have to switch systems. I've been trying to fight it. And yeah, anyway. But it's crazy. So like the MailChimp, I moved away from MailChimp because they were charging like $80 a month. Just a lot for an email list. I understand why some artists just do the free one with all the spam, because my goodness, $80 a month is a lot for an email list. Just to email people. You should be able to email people for free, but whatever. Anyway, so hopefully this works. The emails might look a little different. I'm going to try and keep as much the same as I can functionally punch into the system, but we'll see how it goes. So if things change a little bit, that's why. And if I feel a little scattered, that's why. But hopefully this is the end of it. We have Patricia. Hi. I think he said hi. Trying to catch up on chat as I'm chatting and doing the thing. Thrilled it isn't going to be Fireheart for the surprise pony. I know. I'm so glad. And I'm excited for the Odin. And we'll see if they do like a funky version. I still think that the full might pop up as a full swap, but we'll see how that goes. Get any feast on that Firehorse sticker when he goes up? There will be a few extra of him, because awesome. Shiny Firehorses. I just love the holographic effect worked really well. And I'm going to try for the stickers that have effects to put up like a little Giphy thing so you can see what the sticker does, because in a lot of cases they have, because I have a problem with being extra, they have effects on them. There's like a soft matte metallic, so it's just a little shimmery, but not as ridiculous as something like that. It can't ever be the same. We got to feast on all the options and combinations. It's a thing. Very bougie, says Katie. I know, right? It's going to be fancy. And there, of course, I can't do things simplistic because it's me. So with the website stuff, I'm like, what are all the options you can have? And there's so many options. And there's so many like app integrations and things you can buy, but it's an entirely different platform. So it's taking a second to figure out how to even design things, because wow, there's a lot of options. I'm afraid I'll have a super rare variation. That's always a possibility, because those micro runs are shark feeding frenzy style insanity. And I think Breyer enjoys doing that to us. Katie says, will the cart options work with the time payment option? They should, because I process time payment deposits differently than the actual time payment invoices. There's also options that Shopify has for like a time payment type system that is a monthly thing. I'm going to have to think harder on if I want to do that, because most of my stuff's still going through PayPal anyways, and PayPal invoicing for the most part seems to work for everybody. Maybe I'll send out a little bit of a survey and see if you guys have been liking the way the time payment stuff's done, or if you prefer it to be a monthly, every month on a certain day thing, because that's basically the other option. PayPal allows it to be a little bit more flexible as to when you pay, whereas these other ones are more on this day of the month, you will pay this much. So yeah. Need the Gorilla Gambler's Choice sticker. I actually don't have any more of the Gamblers. I think there's one of each of the Gambler's Choice ones between the Silver Bay and the Gorilla Pinto. So get ready to fight, because there's one of each. But otherwise, for the most part, other than some of the original Juggernaut stickers, I think I inventoried, I don't know, there's so many stickers. So many stickers. Because it's like a little bit of each of all of them. So anyway, it'll be kind of cool. It'd be really fun, because then you can add extras and you can actually stick them on stuff. I should have brought my water bottle down because I covered it and I love it. We have Laura. Hello. Welcome. I'm in the middle of a rant and had too much coffee, apparently. Abigail, excited about the new website, and hopefully it just makes it better, because that's the point. Sometimes I get a little excited about all the extras, and it just needs to be functionally better, and it's going to integrate all of the things I've been trying to do with code without code on my end as intensively as I've been trying. Yeah, so I learned a lot through the process. We'll see how it goes. And then we will be able to save time, because I won't be constantly coding in the background trying to do things. And yeah, I did want to share with you guys a couple of things. There's a auction that just popped up. It's called Dana Blasmo Auctioneer. And so there was I don't know whose collection this is, but there's a collection that has a whole bunch of ponies, including a Juggernaut that's currently at $650, it looks like. And that's the traditional boy. They're estimating it's going to be, they don't know. They put $100 to $1,000. And that it started at $10. So I don't know if it's actually started. It looks like you can bid on it. I'll drop this in the comments. And it's not my auction. This is just through an auctioneer thing. Jen Olp had posted about it. I don't know why there's 3 G's in Juggernaut. He comes with his base. It looks like he's in reasonable condition. Doesn't look like it was stripped. It looks like it was just a normal naked guy. That sounds horrible. I don't know how to get back to their main page, because this was a direct link. But anyways, oh, there we go. Probably this one. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of lots with a whole bunch of different unpainted resins. There's a Victrix resin. Everything's really low right now. Auctions don't even start for another 12 days, technically. So I don't know how there's bid saying maybe people started bidding. I have no idea how this works. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of these tildes, it looks like, or maybe that just it sat on it. If I click the pictures, no. So anyways, there's a whole bunch of resins and things in here. There's also a collector's collection. So there's a Abundantly Jolie, Darren's Fable, which we cast. Shanta resins. Yeah, I'm not sure whose collection this was, but they have a whole bunch of stuff. $100 for a traditional Aurora, which is a really good deal. So check it out. You never know what you might find. There's some stones and briars and other stuff. So there's that. Let me see. Pardon my doing of the things. So Cheryl Leisure is liquidating a collection for Cheryl Alley. And Cheryl was a friend. We kind of met when I was going through cancer stuff, and she's calling it the Refugio collection. That's what her ranch was called. And it's a group that you can get to on Facebook. I'll post that in the chat as well. I'm just going to put sale because I can't spell dispersal to save my life. And Cheryl had a wonderful collection. So there's a painted Goliath medallion in there. There's a whole bunch of other painted medallions. She had lots of unpainted resins. There's lots of painted resins. I think there's some briars and some stones as well. So definitely worth checking out. I don't know. It says there's 300 items in the collection, painted, unpainted models, medallions. They'll be offered for sale or not offered at sale all at once, but be listed weekly for manageable batches. There'll be some set price, and then there'll be some that will be on the web store for auction or best offer. All correspondence through Facebook Messenger. So yeah, check it out. That's an older Fraley piece. Looks like maybe painted by Sarah Mink. El Fuego, I think. I don't think that was a custom. But anyway, Cheryl had really, really good taste and was a wonderful human being. So this collection goes to help out, help get rid of ponies that need to go to new homes and be loved in new places, because I don't think Cheryl can keep them all. So yeah, Cheryl Leisure is the one to contact for all of it, probably right through the Refugio Model Horses webpage. So keep an eye open for that. Put that Arab though. I don't know, right? Let's see. Lizzie, their estimates are funny. You can bid on them now, but they'll do a live online like Breyerfest on February 28th. Okay, so February 28th is when everything goes up. Lizzie's going in person if anybody would like to bid and bring something home and ship the models so they're not paying crazy shipping fees. Contact Lizzie Pannebecker in the chat, or Ravers group, wherever you want to find her. There was... I can share some of these, but I don't want to share all of these just yet. At the Breyer Fest, Midwest Fest, a few of my customs went and did really well, and I haven't mentioned it up to this point, so I'm going to make a public post, but I'll talk about it here. So this is the Weather Girl that I customized from, was a Weather Girl, so quite drastically to this point. And she was painted by Carol Williams. She got some really good placings in her workmanship and also breed. And then this guy was an Alborozo that I did drastic customization to, and it was painted by Nikki Button, also doing really well at the show in workmanship and in breed. He also won reserve champion of the custom division and placed second to Kylie Parks's pony, also painted by Nikki Button, the little Welshie guy on the Rhiannon mold, I believe. So there's her getting some place-ins. This was Khan. So this is actually a Breyer Marawari, the trotting guy. Some people have asked if he's a stone Arab, but no, he's the Breyer Marawari guy. And he was made into a standing Arabian, painted by Shane Langbauer, and got some good placings there too. So there's Leslie Kathman judging the division, which is kind of fun. Let me see here. There's a whole bunch of really nice customs. Let's see if I can find that pony. There's the pony. Where'd it go? My thingy stopped doing the thingy. Stop sharing, start sharing. This is the pony that won championship of the custom division at Breyer Midwest Fest. Very, very cute. So, I keep doing the wrong button. Darn it. So it was a pretty hefty table of ponies that made it to the callbacks too, from what I see. So you had Cat Lady Rage, which is a Tiger Lily custom, a couple of really cute ponies. There was a POA, a Varnish Roan POA that was the most adorable thing pretty much ever. There's the Weather Girl Arabian that was there, and then the Alperoso custom. Let's see. As I cycle through all the pictures. Here's the Weather Girl in progress. So you can see here that she's fairly drastically customized. So from the trotting, Weather Girl, new neck, new tail, moved her legs, new hair. As I was filling her out, redid her face. That's in the same batch forever ago. There was a Desioso, I think, by Sarah Rose that I did a mohawk mane on, and then he had a horn that you could put on that was magnetic. Half-ass Herbert's in the background, the mule there, and then Slingshot. So this was NaMoPaiMo like 2012, a while ago. There she is before primer. And then I guess they went to Sleigh Rally and did reasonably well. So that is super fun. And Sleigh Rally, I guess, is still going on. So we'll see how everything goes there. And yeah, it's kind of cool to see some of my older customs get out and showing. And it gets excited along with the energy from the NaMoPaiMo stuff and the Heather Bullock painting class to really get into doing some more things in the studio. So let me do this. I love that little pony with the carrots so much. So my rant for the day is kind of on this topic. So I titled this Little Changes, and it's amazing how magical the NaMoPaiMo month is just for everybody working on things. You get the juju up, you're really excited. And sometimes just one little thing can make things click in your brain, and it just lights you on fire for a whole nother like year, right? Or even a couple months or whatever. So with Heather Bullock's painting class, I've been painting on this guy. So that's the Jug Life resin. And historically, I've used the Carol Williams painting techniques and some techniques taught to me by Twyla Wenas of Alberta, Canada. She was kind of my mentor with painting, got me started with pastels and oils. When I started with pastels, because that's kind of where I wanted to be, she was like, you got to try oils. So I'm like, they're really expensive. And she's like, yeah, try them anyways. So she was the one that kind of pushed for oils. And then with this year, I decided to kind of get me in the spirit. I take Heather Bullock's class. I've wanted to for quite some time now, and just hasn't worked out. Generally speaking, I don't finish my NaMoPaiMo horses, but I might actually. Like we're 15 days in, just over halfway through the month, and I have a horse that looks like a horse. All the other ones are behind there, like only half painted. So this is a very, very good step up for me. But I did a metallic base coat underneath, which wasn't something that Heather suggested. I did not use all of the techniques that she suggested, just because my brain is my brain, and I got excited, and I have trouble with slow steps, and her techniques build up layers in fairly slow steps, which is great. Works really well. Lots of luminosity. You're building color over color, which allows light to penetrate different layers and reflect back. But I broke the rules a little bit. so it's a hybridized method between what I've already learned from Carol Williams and Twyla and other methods, and also Heather's class. So the metallic base coat allows for a little bit of that reflection back. And I added lots of metallics through the layers going forward. He's meant to be golden, which is a little bit, she was demonstrating more of a red bay for contrast. That's more of a red bay like what she was teaching. And then I added more golds to him. So there's glazing layers in here. There's dry brushing techniques. There's adding in some of the purples and blues and interference colors. I have some, you can see on the back how it's not quite solid like it should be. There's like one even spot on there, but we're getting there. So there's a couple more layers to build, but I'm really liking the luminosity, how the color kind of comes alive. The face shading and stuff's working really well. Just some new techniques. You can see there's dapples that are kind of faint, but they're sitting on the surface. So I'm going to use some glaze layers to knock those back and play with that a little bit. So really, really happy with how he's turning out so far. And previously, so the Carol Williams techniques are more blocked out. So you take all the colors you're going to use as you're going to see them. So all the darks and all the lights, and you put them all in the same layer. Whereas Heather kind of puts a medium layer and then builds in the lights and then builds in the darks. So you're playing a little bit differently with the colors and a lot thinner layers than I was used to applying. So I got excited and had to paint a whole bunch of stuff because I had stuff that was already primered and just sitting there and waiting. So there's a Gnocchi that's more of that red bay. You can see those thin layers really, they dry quick because I use the walnut alkyd, and they allow for some really cool effects with going back in and dry brushing some of your shading in there. And it's just little things that click that your brain goes, oh, this is making painting way more enjoyable. Because I was always fighting with the texture of putting too much paint on, and then you'd see brush strokes, and it didn't matter how much I brushed at it. And then when I'd put thinner layers on, they didn't cover properly. So I think now that that's kind of worked out a little bit better. This guy's probably going to be an Overo, just a minimal Overo. I really like the color though, so having fun with that. And it's funny what little things, and some people I'm seeing things click for them in the NaMoPaiMo group where they're seeing somebody use a technique or maybe even a medium and they're like, oh, that's what I want to do right there, that technique there, how do I do that? And it's just this place of wonderful massive learning. So huge props to Jennifer Buxton for creating this massive event that has become such a hobby staple. I have a Gabriel resin, and I did have to patch a spot on him, so please ignore the gray, but this is him in Silver Bay, getting there. He doesn't have tons of layers on him, but he's starting to look like a thing. And it's funny how much paint changes a sculpture. I really had hoped to have this guy painted before the edition ended, but that's okay. Sometimes things come up. So he's kind of fun. And it was just using kind of the same palette, these colors all base off the same core group, and then you branch them out to expand. So instead of wasting all this paint on my palette, my idea was I'm already mixing it for the Golden Bay just with some tweaks. So I'll do the red and then I'll do the silver. And then I was going to paint this guy for me. He's still going to be for me, but I ended up breaking his leg off. So you can see I fixed it. I put the veining back. He is now stable on his base, and then I fixed the ear with super glue and baking soda because, of course, when he fell, he broke his ear tip, as you do with your tiny little friggin' ears. This ear tip took me longer to do than it takes me to sculpt a whole side of a face, just for reference. It is done in baking soda and super glue. I did post about it. I do have video that I have to edit to post of the process of fixing it, but it worked out pretty well. There is a wire that goes from his knee to his fetlock to reinforce that joint because that scares the poop out of me now. Not that it didn't before, but yeah, definitely will be supporting from the base of the foot more often when I try and do things. So he will be a rose gray. because my brain is now itching to do other things with this thinner paint technique now that it's like, oh, painting doesn't suck now as much as it did before. It's still not my preferred thing. I still prefer sculpting, but the painting part's really fun, especially when it's not fighting you as much, and I'm sure it will fight me, but yeah, it's the thing. So anyway, let me see. Katie says, super pretty. I need to see the videos, especially in the custom division, mainly for my rope, and I painted sold. Ooh. Karina, hello. It's so hard sometimes getting people to contact you and send you photos, so I get really excited when I do because it's neat to see stuff out in the wild doing well. So, Allison says, eye candy. I love the pony. So fun. And it's neat. It's neat to see stuff out there because there's stuff that goes into black hole collections and then you never see it again. And you don't know how it would even do at a show. So Katie's got like dance breaks going on in the chat. That's awesome. Hi, Karen. Katie, I want to lick him. He's so rich. Glazing gel. There's no glazing gel, just my walnut alkyd, which I had to switch to a different container. This is the M gram walnut alkyd, though. It is a medium that also is a dryer. The only thing to keep in mind with oil stuff like that is the fat over lean rule. So you don't want super fatty stuff under thinner stuff. So you try and work with more fats as you go on because of the drying times and things. But walnut alkyd speeds it up. So he doesn't have any glazing medium, just walnut alkyd. That's it. I'm not fancy. A little bit. I've got oleo gel, but it's not often I use that, and it's not for glazing. This is your linseed oil mixed with like a body, so it comes out like a gel, so that when you mix linseed oil with something, it doesn't thin it out as much, but it provides the same textural pigment thinning properties, which can be handy depending on what you're doing. A lot of times with models, especially if you're doing thinner layers, you want thinner paint. So yeah, but there's a couple people that ran into the issue of adding linseed oil, and it's the slower drying version, and it slows down your drying, especially if you put a whole bunch in. That's why I like the walnut alkyd, because it dries faster. All my layers basically have been dry within a day to 2 days, so it's not bad. Very, very thin though. They're not like thick. He's gonna be golden. Gonna be. Yeah, that's like every time that comes on the radio. Restoration looks amazing. Thank you. I don't do it very often, but it works out. The ear was so hard, but whatever. Brenda, hi, welcome. Awesome. I missed it that you're using oils. They do sometimes take forever. So yeah, I use everything. The Master of Fireheart was painted in oils, so I have been using oils since, when did I learn? Like 2006 or 7? It would have been probably 2005, 2006, somewhere in there, was when I learned oils and learned pastels. And then I've acquired all the paints and stuff since. So this is my oil board with a whole bunch of oils on it. And that's my acrylic board. And then I've got airbrush and stuff, and then a whole bunch of pigments. I don't like using one thing, if you hadn't noticed. With everything, it's like, how much can I overcomplicate the process? I will do that twice and then find other ways to weirdly find niche ways to complicate it. So that's just me. So yeah, little simple things, a little change can make a huge difference. And it's cool to see that happen so much in the hobby with all these different areas. So you might see more painted things from me. I do have a couple of medallions that I can't show you because they are from the most recent medallion release for the club, but that will happen hopefully soon here. I did, because I had Baymix went over this guy. This was my demo piece for a shading workshop that I did for Breyer Fest in 2020 on their online, because they didn't have an in-person. I was supposed to be there in person, but yeah. So yeah, there's this guy. He just had a new layer of glaze basically applied on top to redden him up a little bit. I kept all the shading. The shading didn't really change, but that workshop was kind of fun. If you ask Breyer, they might post it again. It is up for my club members in the club section of the website as well. And then this guy, I put a layer of oils over top of the acrylic just to kind of play with some ideas, and I quite like how it turned out. So this was a very metallic base, and I'm going to play with, I haven't figured out what the background's going to be, but it's kind of cool to paint stuff again, especially when the Namo horses haven't always worked out in my favor. But the challenge now is finish the Namo horse, don't side quest 5,000 times, which I've already apparently failed at. But as long as I finish the main horse is all that matters. And then we'll go from there. Yeah, so that was Loxley from, he was a Club medallion from quite a while back. And he'll, all these pieces eventually, with the exception of the Shakana, because I'm keeping him. I like the hair too much. And I wanted the big guy at some point. And I didn't get to keep my little Casanova Nahar, so to do a rose gray that I get to keep. It's not often I keep ponies. But all these other guys will eventually be up for sale. So if there's one that you love, keep an eye out, because they will be coming, including this boy. He will begrudgingly probably be for sale at some point. And now I might need to paint a whole bunch of other Jug Lifes and resins in different colors. My brain's like fixated on a couple of colors it really, really wants to do. So we'll see how it goes. Now it's like, you can do the thing, do the thing. It's like given me this burst of confidence in painting where I've always been a little not confident. Oh, yeah, no, not confident. But anyway, it's given me a burst of extra confidence to be like, oh, okay, this process I'm a little bit more happy with. Because when you're not happy with a process or how things are turning out, then it's frustrating, which is what we're seeing in Namo all the time. People being like, oh, why is it stuck in this Cheeto stage? Or why did this happen? Or why is my pigment doing the grainy thing? So yeah, anyway. Let me see. Do I have a special spot box thingy where your oil ponies go to dry? Not right now. So I bought at one point just a clear Tupperware container. I've been seeing people use the little clear shoe boxes, like little pony stalls, which works really well. I've been leaving them just up on the ledge up here, and they've been doing reasonably well. And then you go over them before you paint your next layer, because the next layer can cover if there's a spot, if you pick out any lint or whatever in them. So yeah, I was doing it, being really particular, and I think adding all those extra steps made it harder for me to do it, which made the process less fun. So I've just been trying to keep it simple and just putting them up out of reach in the corner, less dust there because it's not an active area of doing the things and stirring things up. So that seems to be working so far. I am missing the things. Sorry, guys. Karen says, I took a class with Chris Nandel years ago, gave up. Drying time was months. Depends on what colors you're using. Walnut Alkyd, 1 to 2 days for me, even with whites and blacks. And I'm using, my black is the Bone Black from Rublev, which is, down here somewhere. Nope. Yeah. Bone Black from Rublev does not have any dryers or preservatives in it, and it's been drying really quick. Same thing goes with the white. It's not Alkyd white that I'm using, although that's what Heather suggests to use. The Alkyd's dry, but I am adding an Alkyd, which is a resin, and it dries it. So works out the same. There is a caveat to this. One of the ladies in the class brought up that if you have tree nut allergies, this is walnut oil. It might not do well with you. So I might be listing anything that I'm painting, I'm basically using walnut alkyd on. So just be mindful if you have tree nut allergies. It's not usually a lot. It's only like a drop on my whole palette that gets distributed to all the paint that I'm mixing. And yeah, but you might still have a tree nut allergy reaction to it. Technically, you shouldn't because it's all sealed. So just don't lick the paint. But I don't know. Anyway, he says all the things. Sarah, is it crazy that to paint a horse in 100% acrylics? It is not. So this guy is right now 100% acrylics. Lots of people do it. Lots of people hand paint acrylics. Lots of people use the cheaper acrylics. Bobby, who was in the chat, Horse Tender Studios, paints in cheaper acrylic and does really well, gets really lovely blending. Her Sherlock medallion from the Flat Out Fabulous Challenge was all painted in acrylic, and it's got beautiful blending. And Stephanie Blaylock uses cheaper acrylics, so yeah, give her. They work really well like acrylics through an airbrush, just because that gives you that smooth transition. But airbrushes have their own problems, and every medium does. So it's just kind of picking your poison, right? Let me see. I still have been trying to get in and encourage people. It's been a little less over the last couple of days because it's been a little crazy over here, but I will try to get back into the comments and answering questions and doing all that good stuff for people. I try and do it as much as I can because I've had lots of support when I was doing things and I appreciated it. So I'm trying to give back. Let me see. Amy says, I use craft acrylic. See, you don't have to be stupid like me and spend a bajillion dollars on paints just to have all the colors. But it's also really fun. Anyway, Karen, chocolate and nuts sounds like a snack. Kind of, pretty much. So there are times when it's like, ooh, that looks delicious. Anyway, use craft acrylics for my trapping, says Laura. See? You never know what craft acrylics can do. So it is not crazy to do a horse in 100% acrylics. It is crazy to do a horse in 100% anything because there's their own level of crazy. All right. That I think covers most of the stuff. If you are entering the Flat Out Fabulous challenges, let me go to the website. If you were new here, I do monthly Flat Out Fabulous challenges starting this year. If you go here and then just up to the monthly challenge box at the top of the page, click that. It will take you to the Flat Out Fabulous pages. I need to change that. We are now open for entry for February. So many things to change. So you can download the PDF for all the different, the challenge breakdown, these pages here. So we're in February, so it's dynamic duos. It can be fantasy. It can be one medallion that has two things on it, whether that's two horses or a donkey and a llama, as long as they're sculpted by me. So I think I've done a couple of two horse pieces, mare and foal. There's been the old mare and the younger mare, and also the donkey and the llama, the drama club. You can also mix and match. So you could do like Sherlock and Moriarty together, or whatever combination of medallions you wanted to do. If you wanted to do the fan favorite version of a medallion with the original and have them facing each other and do that as your duo, you can. It's open to interpretation. Just try to make it fun. And it is open to fantasy, so you can do whatever you like. Those need to be submitted by the 20th. That is this week. That is Friday. Friday is the deadline. So you need to get your emails in. Make sure you're following the email subject line specifically. It needs to say flat space out space fabulous space February space entry for it to funnel the way it needs to and help me out in the back end with renaming things and sorting the data into my spreadsheet and stuff. If you're painting a medallion as an add-on or you have extra paint, toss it on a medallion and enter it in one of the next challenges. So something like March, that is a artist-specific challenge. Doesn't mean you have to be an artist to enter it. You can have a piece that has these detailings in it, but it is meant to encourage artists to paint things or to help feature artists and their skill sets. So in this case, it would be delighted by details. So anything that's hair by hair, whether that's roning, halos, however you're doing hair by hair detailing, that all classifies. And it is fantasy friendly. So you could do purple hair by hair if you wanted to. So yeah, that's the thing. Technically, medallions can't be official pieces. I don't know why, but they can't. Apparently, that's in the rules. They can't be your official piece, but they can be your side piece or your I Did This Too project. And then you can enter it in my thing and win more prizes. All right, so that is happening. What else do I got going on here? I have not yet announced the sticker for this month for the sticker club, but I need to do that soon and get it finished so that I can ship it out at the end of the month, because that's going to creep up real quick here. Let me see. Unbreakable also has 2 horses, could catch Katie. See, I forget sometimes. There is the... If you want to know what medallions I sculpted, they are not up on my website currently, but if you look up Raven, Maddock, and Resins, just on Google, or you go to Resin Horse Editions, which is resinhorseeditions.blogspot.com. I'll post this in the chat. This lists basically all the medallions that I've done. There's a couple of weird, obscure pieces that are missing, but you can see here what I've sculpted. Technically, Tater and Tot would count. I sculpted half of Tater and Tot. So. But there's all the previous medallions from the club. So there's your Sherlock and your Moriarty. There was fan favorites of like Alphaba and Sherlock, or Moriarty, Goliath, and Shaman, and I'm trying to think of who else had it, Xavier. So they would have mirrored versions. You can mix and match whoever you want. Lots of options. Kind of fun. There are many, 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 many. Keeps going. Medallions. Oh, who's missing? There's your drama club. So it's kind of fun to see all of them in a row. It's been a lot that I've done. There's Tender Moments. Worried Calm. I don't even know how many that is. That is a lot of medallions. But that's a pretty comprehensive list of everything I've ever done if you're wondering what has been done. So you can check it out. Anything that I've sculpted as a medallion qualifies, and kind of go from there. So Dust Devils is also too. Very true. The Fighty Bitey Boys is their other name. I don't know where they are. Dust. Why is it not going there? That is a bumblebutt. I just want the ad to go away. There we go. These guys. They are huge. So yeah, that is what the studio is doing for now. The juggernauts that are behind me are the last of the ones that need to ship, including ones that were paid up to, I think, yesterday. So we are on track. All of the ones that are being paid off for Little Jug Lives, those last ones shipped this week. And then they're caught up other than anyone paying things off. So there's basically no wait for things that are time payments being paid off now to ship, which is awesome. That means we are doing the thing we need to do and getting everything out to people fast. So there's not years of wait time. I'm going to try and keep on that train because I know that it's nice to get your ponies right away. And yeah, so that's kind of exciting. What else do I got? Let me do the next thing. I don't know how these are all basically an hour and how I fit an hour of talking into all these. But anyways, we're almost at an hour. We're doing really well here. And I was going to talk about, so part of my hyperfixation has been the painting thing and just different color mixing, how you can take a color and add the complementary to really tone down that bright chroma, or take down a specific color, or go into different directions and warm things up or cool things off, and how you mix, say, a warm tone of something with a cool tone of the opposite, and how that gives you a really chromatic, say, black. Things like that are really, really interesting. The color theory in school never clicked into my brain in a way that made it interesting enough for me to want to know. So then I just pushed it to the back. I'm like, yeah, complementary, whatever. But now it's starting to click a little more, which is why I'm getting excited about painting. It's making it more fun because it's becoming a hyperfixation. Funny how that works. And really enjoying, like, you can use your mop brushes. This one has a bunch of dust on it that you can see spiff off into the distance. But getting all your different little mop brushes and stuff. You can also use makeup brushes and not spend $1 million on mop brushes, which is also helpful. And the little mini mop brushes are my favorite because they're super tiny. It is not the easiest medium to do something like micro scale, but anyway, that works on little stablemate faces at least. Another thing that I have been hyperfixating on is I just learned the meaning of the Myers-Briggs cognitive types. So I'm an INFJ, which is apparently fairly rare, and it breaks down your, it's like your brain programming. And for whatever reason, because my brain's been doing all this programming stuff, it fixated on that and got really excited. So being an INFJ, I am NE first, FE second, TI third, and SE as my last brain process. So generally that means I'm NI dominant, which is introverted intuition. That means my brain's flow mode. This is the first category, which is kind of cool. And that means that I'm seeing patterns in everything. I'm connecting dots subconsciously. I have knowing insights. That's kind of the like feeling my sculptor's sculpting stuff. That was a really weird way to put it. How I feel what I sculpt, I don't see what I sculpt. That's kind of apparently what that comes from. Apparently, it's like a somatic translation. So because I feel it and intuitively know it, I am inputting that into a thing, which is like a somatic experience. I was tripping. So maybe that's what people like in my work, because I'm like doing weird things with my art. I have no idea, but I thought that was really cool because I've done some somatic like therapy type stuff, and it's very like you're putting the body feelings and processing them in different ways. So I'm kind of processing my own somatic stuff into my art, which is then allowing other people to somatically experience my art, which I thought was the coolest freaking thing ever. And then when I saw it in the Myers-Briggs thing, I was like, that's what? Ting. It's the brain thing. See? Worked. And then apparently there's lots of symbolism and deeper meaning things that my brain gets excited about. Then my next one's auxiliary, which is the feeling, extroverted feeling. So I am introverted and extroverted, like right conflicting in the front, which is kind of funny. And I am, because I can be either. I'm primarily introverted, but I do have the ability to extrovert. And when I'm extroverted feeling, that's picking up on like a emotional atmosphere in a room, or knowing how other people feel, wanting harmony and not discord. Let's all get along and like pretty plastic ponies. Adapting to feeling, or adapting behavior to help others feel comfortable, things like that. Highly empathetic, apparently. My tertiary, which is introverted thinking. So I go extroverted, introvert, extroverted, introverted. It's analyzing concepts deeply, and like the ADHD brain of hyperfixating on stuff, which includes hyperfixating on your hyperfixations. Seeking internal logical consistency. I do have the Spock mode my brain goes into, or like data mode. I've always related to those kinds of characters, which is kind of interesting. And then it's saying that there's a duality of being mystical and analytical, being emotional and precise. And I've always struggled with maintaining that balance with my own being of, I kind of flip two directions, if that makes sense. There's the like woo woo and then the analytical. Like I need the art, but I need the anatomy. And I like the I can be very emotional, but then I can also go into the like the focus mode. And there's not a lot of gray in the middle. That it's been something that I've struggled with, which is kind of interesting. And my inferior trait would be extroverted sensing. So my weakest conscious function is this one, and apparently that's physical awareness. I used to trip over stuff a lot as a kid, not very like spatially aware. Present moment sensory experience, so that's interesting. Action and spontaneity is very weak. So yeah, apparently not very spontaneous. Like I am in a way, but not in a way. Definitely that physical awareness. It says I live in my head. I forget my body. I miss physical details. I forget to eat, things like that. So it's funny how things like that just click and make you think about stuff. And then it's saying that when my INFJ type is stressed, the SE kicks in hardcore, and then I end up making impulsive decisions and overeating and overspending and sensory indulgences and reckless behavior, apparently. So that all kind of makes sense. Yeah, it's quite a thing. And then it talks about, like, there's a whole other side of it where you have your shadow functions, where your brain, when it's stressed, kicks into a different level, and it represents all those different types of processing traits, but there's a shadow version of it, which is interesting. And it's saying INFJ's life mission, psychologically speaking, is understanding truth, understanding people, creating meaning, and helping others grow. So we tend to be artists, creators, counselors, and visionaries, which is kind of cool. And then we struggle with mental burnout, emotional overload, being misunderstood, and living too much in here. So I thought that was kind of neat. I liked the breakdown of it because I knew I was an INFJ, which I knew was rare and weird and conflicting with personality. But it's neat to see it broken out into like brain processing stages. So hopefully you found that interesting, because it's a hyperfixation this week and I find it interesting, but kind of neat. And maybe it helps you understand me a little better. So there's also that. Get in the zone. Auto zone. Oh no, why is that commercial playing in my head? Katie. Abby says, do you have somewhere that sells your horse cookies? I have a couple up on the website. Let me show you, which is a little bit of a hot mess right now. But if you go to the website and you click on new at the top here, it'll show sticker lover surprise pack, medallion lover surprise pack. There's one medallion that's available a la carte, and then a couple of stickers and things. And if you go to the challenges, so the Flat Out Fabulous page, at the very bottom, there's an individual random medallion that ships out, and that's $38 US prepaid. I don't have them available as the individual medallions for sale. These are kind of randomized of what I have kind of stashed away in my stockpiles, which are actually some really good choices. So yeah, that's what I have available right now. I'm going to try and change it with the new website. And like I said, the card option doesn't work right now, so you have to check it individually for one thing. But I will say that the medallion surprise packs have some really good goodies in them. So if you like medallions and you want to try something out, it's a good way to do it. All right. Amy says, you're describing me, but I don't have the ADHD part. So doesn't always have to 100% fit, but I thought that was kind of interesting. Taking those tests is kind of a fun thing to do every once in a while, just to see where you sit. Some people call it bunk and woo-woo, but I think it's kind of interesting. So I am a weird mix of weird stuff, and helping understand it, which makes sense with my type. Apparently, it's like I need to pattern recognize and fit things in boxes to be okay with it proceeding forward. But yeah, so vision, empathy, precision, and grounding apparently is my balanced mix of stuff. So that's me. All right. So that is my rant and hyperfixation for the week. I hope everyone's having an awesome time with NaMoPaiMo. If you're not painting along officially, you can do it unofficially. Just have fun. There are painting days. My next... Let me see. We just did one the other day, an art hangout, but there are 3 more coming. There's Wednesday, the 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Saturday, the 21st, 1 to 3, Friday, the 27th from 7 to 9. So this does work around Heather's painting schedule a little bit, because I'm going to be in those classes, so I can't do a live at the same time, obviously. But that's something fun to do. If you're in one of the clubs, you can join in. There's a digital-only membership that does allow you to just do that, and it helps support me in my studio so I can keep doing the art things and making pretty ponies, and I appreciate it. And then, like I said, I'm making that whole experience better here going forward, so hopefully it'll be even more awesome. So yeah, join in one of those if you can, and I try and make them random, sometimes days, sometimes weekends, sometimes nights, to make it easier for people to join in. And you can paint your NaMoPaiMo pony, hang out, just talk ponies, do whatever you want. Doesn't have to be horse related. Some people just listen to us all banter on, which is kind of entertaining every once in a while. John is asking, do I have a video of what the best way to clean and prepare medallions for painting? I don't actually, but I can probably do that. I generally give them a bath with Dawn Power Wash works really well because it sprays and it gets in all the grooves. Scrub it down with a toothbrush. So dish soap or Comet works as well. And then let that fully dry. Spray your layer of primer on and then start painting. If there's any prep work to do, sometimes there's little air bubbles. Those can just be filled with epoxy, but maybe I'll do a little quick video for social media, post that up along with the fixing one that I shared too. Jerry, haven't had time to paint, don't have an official pony, wanted to finish hippie. Aw, well, you don't have to be official. I don't like that there's this, you have to do this. I don't like rules. I like rules, but I don't like rules. When rules mean that you're excluded, that makes me frustrated sometimes. But you can unofficially paint stuff and just have fun and participate in an unofficial way. All right. Karen saying the lives are super educational or the hangouts. Sometimes we talk about some really cool stuff sometimes and get into back end things that because we can. We just hang out and be friends like plastic ponies. Alrighty, on that note, I will let you guys go. Make sure you get your flat out fabulous entries in by the 20th, and I will see you next Sunday. Some of you I'll see on Wednesday.